As usual, this guide features early strats. PF has seen a lot of movement for this mechanic, in the first week alone, so don't be surprised if better strats get discovered if they haven't already. This is a mini-guide for the BD fixed pattern, or JP strat, originally discovered by QTT6. The principle here is that we use the east side as the default for fire mechanics, which keeps the entire west half of the arena completely safe for the second half of the phase, which makes things a lot easier there. We start, as usual, in the debuff application. We go into these proximity baits to ensure that the debuffs stay within our light parties. It's random which party gets what, but the formation here is what makes it light parties. Sometimes you can get the opposite debuff from where you're standing, like what's happened here, and in that case you'll just all swap over. First thing to happen here is a spread. The water players will get hit by Proteans after Deep Blue jumps to a wall near 4 or 1 at random. They'll spread as shown, and then to dodge the second hit, they will collapse in the middle, like in front of a boss. That will always be safe, no matter which cast Deep Blue did. Fire people on the other side will have circle spreads that will explode into puddles, and they'll line them up on the wall as in the pattern shown here. Showing the spread here. And then the second hit. Second is 6 Swell. Deep Blue will draw a line north or south, which will be used for a knockback later. The knockback will come from the side that he's drawing the line to. Also, not too well known, Deep Varial coming up is always opposite. So now that he's stored a south knockback, we know that knockback south and Deep Varial is north. After that, Red Heart goes for Hot Impact on the tank, a stack tank buster, which you either share or invuln, as you see fit. Next is the Deep Varial cast, which we already knew was north, and we probably could have pre-positioned a little bit there if we so chose to. Deep Blue will jump to that wall opposite of the stored knockback, and then do a big cone towards the middle. The number of orbs at the destination decides which mechanic water players have to do. In this case, they're spreading, but if it's only one orb, then they'll be stacking. Fire players will always have a spread, it'll be the same puddles again, and they will line up on the wall from the east. Moving into a spread spot now. Don't worry about the 3 people in a clump over on the left by the fizz range. There is room to adjust after the cone goes off, as we will see right now. Going into our spots here. The ranged could probably scoot over a little bit, get a bit closer to the healer, now that it's a bit safer. And the water people will go into where the cone was in order to resolve their mechanic. Spreads might look a little something like this. The exact pattern doesn't matter, just that everyone's on the same page and no fire people get hit. Here I have the tank further from Deep Blue so that he actually gets dragged and the melee can get some uptime. If it's stacked, they would instead just condense into the middle. Here the things go off. The puddles from earlier also get a steam eruption, but that shouldn't be too problematic. Next is Hot Aerial. Red Heart will automatically recenter, then he'll jump onto and place the puddle on the furthest fire player. He'll do that 4 times and each player needs to get hit once. They will bait these hits in the order and positions shown, and then go back to Deep Blue once theirs is done. This is done this way so that everyone can wait out at their spots the whole time until they're hit, but you don't have to do that. As we're going to see as the tank gets hit, the melee actually stays at Deep Blue and gets their uptime. The ranged is next furthest, so their next hit. Melee leaves Deep Blue to get ready for their hit. And now the healer is the last person left. Next is Sickest Take-off. This is the one where Deep Blue goes untargetable, uses the stored knockback, and also makes a random third of the arena unsafe. Again, we're seeing those orbs, that means the water people are going to have to spread If it was one orb, again, it would be a stack. We will be defaulting to the west third of the arena, as that's the one with no balls. That's the whole point of us doing this. But we can still go mid if west is unsafe. I'm going to show a west safe pattern first. You can KBI this, and most of our party is doing that, but we can see that the Paladin isn't. The Paladin wants to get a bit more uptime on Red Hot, and then ride the knockback into their spread spot naturally. As we see there. Deep Blue comes back as the spreads resolve. Again, the exact spread formation doesn't matter too much, as long as everyone's on the same page and it doesn't clip with fire people. If it's stack, however, you actually can take that with the fire people safely. And of course you get the steam eruptions again, but we're so far away that it doesn't matter. Next is Cutback Blaze. A lot of people will recommend the party stack for this, behind the boss, as we see most of the party doing here, under the assumption that this mechanic is random. It is not. It is actually proximity based. So if you have one person bait, like the Dark Knight is right now, it literally doesn't matter where anyone else is. This small improvement applies regardless of which strat you're doing, and I would greatly recommend doing this in your party finders if they're having trouble. Anyway, that will make a large part of the arena unsafe, except for a small cone away from the player that's baiting. We pointed that towards B here, because that is a large safe spot. Lastly, Deep Impact will be Deep Blue doing an AoE tank buster on the water tank, which should be taken out as far as possible. Others' recommendations of the tank invulning the tank buster in the fire are a result of them not knowing that the tank still gets the dot even if they invuln it. Welcome back, Abyssos. Do not under any circumstances do that. Seriously. Let's go back to Sickest Take-off though. This time we're going to show a D-unsafe pattern, where the party instead goes to the middle. It's going to be a spread from the knockback from the south and a spread again. The Paladin rides it again, and then the melee moves last second. Spreads resolve as Deep Blue comes back. And the steam eruptions. The Paladin here in that example would need to be careful to not get hit by the steam eruptions. Next is Cutback Blaze again. As we can see, the party is not stacked, but it's not gonna matter, as we have our lovely friend the Dark Knight to bait for us. And then Deep Impact goes on the Paladin. Lastly, Diver's Dare is a raid-wide that both of them cast to clear all of the unsafe puddles. And that's the strat. We do have strategy boards for this available in the description or the pinned comment, so check both if you want them. And that's it. Hope this has made your raiding journey just that little bit more bearable. Please stick around if you found it informative, and check my throne if you're feeling especially generous. See you next time.